everybody, and welcome back to another episode of World War II Aviation. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 10 aircraft of World War II, or at least what I believe to be the top 10 aircraft of World War II. First off, we have the Japanese Mitsubishi A6M-0. The Zero was a carrier-based fighter that the Imperial Japanese Navy used throughout World War II. In the beginning of the war against the Americans in the Pacific, the Zero achieved their superiority pretty on because the fighters we had were not that great. But later on, as the war progressed, our fighters got better, and the Japanese just kind of stayed with the exact same one because they wanted lighter, fast maneuverable fighters that were also really cheap. Kind of like in Star Wars, how the Empire viewed TIE fighters. Sorry that I made that reference, but, whatever. And another reason was, it was a very fast and agile fighter, which means that it could easily overwhelm its opponents, which, you gotta give it credit for that. And, well, also, here's a problem with it. But if you can land just a few hits, since it had almost no armor, you will most likely take it down. Which is bad for the Japanese pilot, but good for you if you're an American. So, overall, pretty good fighter, but it could be better. Okay, now moving on to number 9. Controversial choice here, but the P-40. Just hear me out. It was really good when it had the advantage of bearing down on the enemy from above, because it would just dive, and it had a really nice armament of a few 50 caliber machine guns and a few 30 caliber machine guns. Like, it could really tear up bombers and fighters alike. It was also very rugged. It could take a ton of punishment. Like the Flying Tigers, one of their pilots, he got so shot up, and he still managed to keep on flying. It was really impressive. It had decent speed, decent range, but overall it was a pretty outdated fighter. But it was also a very effective and a very good one. Okay, number 8, the Focke-Wulf FV-190. This was an incredibly fast and agile fighter. Okay, so here's something that says just a lot about it on its own. It was the second primary fighter of the Luftwaffe, which, yeah, you don't hear that every day. It had to be really good to achieve that role, which it was pretty good. It was one of the most mass-produced fighters, and also it was really fast and agile, and out of the different variants, there were some that had cannons, some that had rockets, and some that had machine guns. You essentially had an FV-190 for any role that you could possibly want as a fighter. They were very, very rugged, and they were just an amazing fighter overall. I don't really have much more to say about them. I just love them. And now, moving on to number 7, we have this is an American fighter. Here we have the F-4F Wildcat. Again, a fighter in the Pacific just like the Japanese Zero. It went up against the Japanese Zero. It was generally better, so I'm used to the later version. It had air superiority in the Pacific along with, this is later, along with Chancellor F-4U Corsair. It was extremely potent. It amassed over 1,300 kills. I'm blown away by how just this not that great fighter could have amassed that many kills against the might of the Japanese military. It was just incredible. And it gained air superiority once we actually refined our models of these. So it's overall a really good fighter. But there are obviously better ones on the list, as you can only see the videos like halfway done. So yeah. Now moving on to number 6. Now at number 6 we have the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. It had an extremely long range of 2,600 miles. Which, that is just amazing. It could go further than almost any other aircraft of its size, and it was just crazy. And its armament was also very impressive, with a few 50 caliber machine guns, and it could easily take down a German fighter in a dogfight, which a lot of fighter races, a lot of American fighter races, I should say, were flying these P-38s, which is really impressive. Now at number 5 we have the North American P-51 Mustang. It was fast. It was extremely fast. It was about 445 miles an hour fast, which that is just crazy. Also, it was the first aircraft ever to shoot down a jet fighter. Well, that also in itself makes this aircraft have to be on here, because to have the pinnacle of all piston engine aircraft design go up against the new leading edge of technology and actually get a victory over that is extremely significant. Also, what allowed it to achieve that was its maneuverability, its speed, and also it has a really impressive armament. I'm talking 650 cal machine guns, which you probably really wouldn't expect anything else since this is an American fighter. Literally what we like to do is just say, hey, how many more 50 cals can we throw onto this new aircraft? That's about it. I think we're gonna end that there because this video is really long and it is taking me a really long time to edit, and I actually want to get this out to you guys, so we're gonna end there. Thank you so much if you've stuck around and are actually watching this end part here, but thank you so much for watching. If you feel like I earned your subscription, the subscriber is not no big deal.